has you covered all under one roof with a large selection of side-by-sides, ATVs, motorcycles, and personal watercraft at their 27th and I-80 location. They can't wait to get you set up for the holiday season.
When the clock strikes 0 after every Nebraska football game, there's only one place to go for instant coverage. Tune in for the Husker After Party Postgame Show on 93.7 The Ticket for each game, win or lose. Call in with all your takes or text the show at 464-5685 and hear quotes from the players and coaches, too. It's the Husker After Party Postgame Show, sponsored by Anderson Ford and Vinny Krikak of State Farm Insurance. This is the Adam Carricker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carricker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carricker.
Shotgun snap to Everidge. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carricker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carricker.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carricker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's a Victory Thursday. Do you know why, Jake?
Why is that?
Well, every day is a Victory Day, but it's a Victory Thursday because Nebraska women's basketball curb stopped, mollywopped, and whooped our good friends from just down the road at Creighton last night by roughly 4 million points. Is that about accurate?
I think so. I think that was the halftime score.
Nebraska women's basketball had not beaten Creighton since 2021. All right, so had 3 losses in a row, ended that losing streak last night. Looked very, very good. I mean, Britt Prince looked great. I mean, they made you can call it a half-court shot, more like a three-quarter court shot. I think it was at the end of the first quarter. All right, I had a first-hand seat for this particular game. We took my twins' daughter's 4th-grade basketball team, so they were first-hand in attendance. They were going all over the place getting signatures. Like Connor Essegian was sitting down on the floor. They go Connor, and then I think Markowski was up in the stands somewhere, and then there was a couple other basketball players like going all over the place getting signatures. So they were having a blast. It was a good team bonding experience, especially when the good guys win. Is Creighton the bad guys, or are they just the other guys?
They're the bad guys.
They're the bad guys? All right. I know a few Creighton people. They didn't seem too pleased afterwards. I don't know if I can call them the bad guys. If I know some of them, they're actually halfway decent people. Can I just call them those guys? Does that work?
I suppose. I think technically they're Nebraskans. So.
Yeah. Oh, that's the loophole. That's the loophole.
Technicality, I guess.
All right, we'll allow it. All right, this program is brought to you by our good friends at Mulberry Barbecue. All right. They now have 2 locations at 11th and Cornhusker and 61st and Apples Way, right off of Highway 2 by Lowe's. Both locations are open Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Try their burn-in sandwich, a brisket burrito, barbecue nachos, full slab of ribs, half-smoked chicken, and much more. Plus, get incredible sides. As always, get fueled for lunch today or make dinner plans at Mulberry Barbecue, located at 11th and Cornhusker and at 61st and Apples Way, just off of Highway 2 by Lowe's. We have 7 clips we're going to get through. Jake, are you with me? 7.
7 of them.
Have we ever done 7 before?
I don't think so.
I don't think we've ever done more than 3. One of us talks too much. We got 7 clips we're going to get to. I will not be in studio. I will not be here tomorrow, so we got a lot to get through today. And EMMETT Johnson. We talked about this a little bit the other day, but EMMETT Johnson potentially going to the NFL. Now, normally I wouldn't talk about this openly, but Matt Rule openly stated it multiple times in his press conference. He might go. It might be the best thing for him to go. So I feel like it's a fair topic to discuss a little bit more. And you were going to look up the average amount of money that a 2nd round and a 3rd round NFL draft pick makes. I kind of tossed that your way right as the glass was shattering and the show was going on there and the music was hitting. So do you happen to have either of those, or do you need a minute?
So I got 3rd round. I can get the 2nd round here in a second. 3rd round is usually between $5.7 and $6 million.
Is that over 4 years?
You're correct.
So a little over $1 million a year, something like that. What do you think EMMETT's draft grade would be right now? Like, don't think just college production, but how projection to the NFL. You are the almighty Jake Bakoven. Todd McShay knows nothing. Mel Kiper Jr. knows nothing. You're the almighty draft analyst expert in America.
All right.
Okay. This is the world we're living in. What draft grade? Hopefully you're not hitting bad news Bach music before you give this draft grade. I don't think you will. What draft grade would you give Emmett Johnson? What round?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. Even though you gave me the power there, I'll go to Mel Kiper Jr.'s board because he's been doing this for a while. He had Emmett Johnson at 8th among running backs, which if you look at last year would be in the same spot. Cam Scatterbu was the 8th running back taken. He was taken in the 4th round.
So, and it varies from year to year. Sometimes there's a run on offensive linemen in the first round. And maybe there's 3 tackles taken in the first 10 picks. And then all of a sudden, everyone else gets moved up the board. Where in another year, maybe the top or the 6th best tackle gets taken in the 4th round. But there's a run on tackles early on. Maybe now you get bumped up to 3rd or even late 2nd, possibly. Such things have happened in the past. So obviously there's a variable here. So let's say the 8th running back last year was 4th round. Let's say Emmett continues to finish strong this year, gets national attention, which, let's be honest, it's going to affect your draft stock the more people know about you. And so let's say he would have been projected 2nd. Let's meet in the middle and say it's 3rd. Let's say he goes 3rd round if he goes this year. So a little over $1 million a year. All right. And you compare that to, a little bit of guesstimation here, what he could make in NIL, et cetera, et cetera. But here's the other thing. There's other ways that they pay players outside of just revenue sharing, things like that. You turn around quite often, and Dylan Raiola's got a new NIL deal with this company or that company or whatever the case may be. I have a feeling Nebraska could match that in one way, shape, or form or another. Now, the revenue sharing is $20.5 million. That's going to go up year after year for all your sports. 14.5 has been dedicated to football here at the University of Nebraska. But there's other ways to get there and to pay athletes a little bit more. I feel like Nebraska could get relatively at least in the ballpark. Do you think they could?
I think so, yeah.
So then you go to the known versus the unknown. So if the money's relatively the same, what do I know? Well, I know I'm going to be featured at Nebraska. I know they love me at Nebraska. I know exactly what to expect out of my head coach. I know what the offense looks like. I know what to expect. If for some reason I get hurt and my career ends, I would have made roughly the same amount of money at Nebraska as I did in the NFL, so there's not a whole lot of downside there. You know what I mean? You go to the NFL, well, it's the NFL. I mean, you could Cam Jurgens this thing, get on a team, go win a Super Bowl. And not that Nebraska can't make a deep run in the college next year. I actually think we're going to be a really good team next year. It's no longer about how good I think the team is versus the schedule. Well, let me rephrase that, because it's always been about how tough the schedule is the past 2 years, more so than we really, really, really think we have a great team. Next year, I'm going to be like, I think we got a really good team. The schedule's now harder. And so that's going to be more the debate, in my opinion. Especially, I'm curious to see how January, by the way, transfer portal season is January. I actually like that. We're going to talk more football even longer when it comes to college specifics, and then we're going to have the NFL playoffs and the Super Bowl. So to me, I like that for multiple reasons. I think it's better, because players are less likely to opt out of bowl games, which is the main reason they did it. So players would stay, play in bowl games, then they could enter the transfer portal. So they're more likely to stay for bowl games. Bowl games are more interesting. And then just for what we do, it's portal season in January is just great in general, but I think it's actually better for college football as well. You get rid of the spring portal season, hopefully bring back spring games. I have not forgotten about these cross practices in between teams idea. I don't know if that's going to come to fruition. I just like the idea. I'd like to discuss that more. I think it's phenomenal. But you look at the known versus the unknown. I don't think there's a bad decision here. Obviously, if you're Emmett Johnson, it's like you've got 2 great options. There's no bad options. What's the best option? Hey, you go to the NFL. Maybe that was his lifelong dream. Maybe there's things there that appeal more to him. Obviously, there's opportunities that come along with the NFL. You could argue you start in the NFL, although he's starting to get national attention. Maybe this is part of the reason Rule's doing it. It gets Nebraska on a national stage. Emmett deserves it, but also you start in the NFL as a running back, you're going to get a lot more national attention than you will at Nebraska until Nebraska's in more of those national conversations as far as college football playoff, big bowl games, Big Ten championship games. Frequently, there's more attention. But maybe you look at what Nebraska's doing right now, you're like, man, I'm going to get that same thing here, which then brings on brand deals, endorsement deals on top of whatever else is going on. So to me, I will openly say that Nebraska is exponentially better with Emmett back next year. just like having Dylan and TJ both back next year would be great. I don't know how realistic that is, but I've kind of shelved that conversation for another day. I want to see how TJ plays against Penn State, which is going to be a stiffer test than UCLA, and then a great test versus Iowa, because that's a really good defense. Penn State has the potential to be an elite defense. I don't know which Penn State team is going to show up. Happy Valley is going to be a more difficult road game than Lincoln away, which is basically what Pasadena turned into, which was awesome by the fans. Lincoln away, you like that? I just made that up. Lincoln away. So it's kind of like a nice little progression. UCLA. By the way, for those who are like, oh, it's UCLA, they suck. Well, we were a road underdog with a true freshman quarterback making his first start ever. Don't take wins in the Big Ten for granted. Then you go to Penn State. By the way, if we beat them, you know what people are going to say? Oh, they're 3-7. They threw in the towel. Like, it's okay to be happy. It's okay to enjoy Nebraska football. I'm just saying it's okay. I've said that before. It's okay to repeat that. But let's see how things play out versus Penn State and then Iowa. And then a bowl game. You know, we do well these last two games. I'm starting to hear things maybe about the ReliaQuest Bowl, possibly, the old Outback Bowl. I mean, you're going to play a good SEC team. TJ Lateef will have plenty of time to learn, grow, improve. The coaching staff to learn more about him, grow with him, help him improve, help him develop, also develop the offense around him as these weeks go along. So I've kind of shelved the TJ Lateef versus Dylan Raiola conversation until I see how these weeks unfold and see what happens. Because it's a rabbit hole that you can go down. I don't mean rabbit hole like a negative context. I just mean like rabbit holes never frickin' end. And this is a conversation that could legit be for a 4-hour show. You know, because you have, oh, maybe TJ's a better fit for the offense. Or, you know, if they had done certain things with Dylan that they did with TJ, maybe it would have been better. Or maybe some people are tired of some of the antics that they see. And we covered that in the offseason. I said, if you win, if you play well, what people will say is, what a strong leader. Look at him out front. Look at him galvanizing the fan base. Look at him doing this. If you don't, they're going to say X, Y, and Z in the opposite direction. It all depends on whether you win or lose. Perception changes based on W's and L's. And narrative can, like, two people can see the same exact thing. And depending on what narrative they want to drive, they can use completely different words and say completely different things. And the person hearing it who wasn't there, that didn't see whatever they're talking about, could get two completely different images in their head based on how it's framed. Well, a college football fan is going to frame it based on, did we win, did we lose? Just naturally. Now, there's some outliers, maybe some people with ulterior motives or whatever the case may be, but as a general whole, it's based on wins and losses. So I've kind of shelved that conversation just a little bit. Do you have anything quick before we go back to Emmett and then some things I've got here? And then we haven't even touched a clip yet. Is there any hope we're going to get through all of them? Any hope?
I don't think there's any hope.
There's hope.
No.
I'm determined. But go ahead.
No, I mean, I agree with you. I think, and mostly, I mean, it's obviously an easy conversation what Husker fans in general are going to have and kind of project moving forward. But yeah, a lot matters in all these conversations. Emmett returning, quarterback situation, bowl game, expectations for next year. These last 2 weeks will have a big, determination of how all that goes. So, you know, it's one of those things. You're seeing Missouri's Eli Drinkowitz kind of talk about this as, you know, everything doesn't have to be so college football playoff based. There's so much left to be determined with this Nebraska football season with just 2 weeks left. And it doesn't have anything to do with the college football playoff.
I was going to reference, I'm glad you brought that up. Eli Drinkowitz basically saying we've made it all about the college football playoff. And if you don't make it, like, some guys might say, why am I still playing? You notice my enthusiasm has not changed one iota since we got our third loss, because my perspective was 8 to 9 wins the entire time. We're building something towards the future. That's been my perspective since January, okay? All right. I thought this was interesting. Ashton Genty was asked by a Raiders reporter earlier this week who he believes deserves to win the Heisman, and I quote, he said Jeremiah Love is the best player in college football. I hope the voters don't make the same mistake twice in a row, end quote. If you look at the Heisman watch list, right, you got in order as they're listed: Fernando Mendoza, Ty Simpson, Haynes King, Julian Sain, Marcel Reed, Jacob Rodriguez. We got a defensive player in there. That's a linebacker, ladies and gentlemen. Jeremiah Love at 7, Emmett Johnson at 8. Okay, Jeremiah Love's a stud. Emmett's stats are better across the board. Now, Jeremiah is a stud, to be clear. These might be your two All-Americans we're talking about here. on the final first team All-American, second team All-American teams. But that's a team in the national spotlight, college football playoff picture, and another team not as much scenario, in my opinion. All right, rounded out here, Diego Pavia, Vanderbilt. Wow. Joe Fagnand, UConn's quarterback.
Yeah.
I knew UConn was doing decent. I have not watched a single snap, so I can't pretend to know why they're doing decent, but wow, I did not realize.
Well, I can tell you part of his stats right now, just touchdown interception ratio, 25-0.
Okay.
So that's why they're doing pretty well.
He should definitely be in the top 10. Oh, wow. I got to go watch UConn. Not just basketball anymore. Okay. All right, let's see what else we got here. TJ Lateef was the highest rated freshman in the country with a grade of 85 last week. You probably saw that one there, Jake. So a fan tweeted this to me. I don't know. I don't even know if I want to read it. Basically, they're comparing QBRs, TJ's QBR at UCLA versus Dylan's, and there's a vast difference, and it's in favor of one quarterback over another. Again, I'm going to wait and see how things play out week over week over week. LSU trying not to pay Brian Kelly. Quick thoughts on that? $54 million? I don't think so. We didn't fire you. You just didn't show up for work. There's like a 48-page legal jargon that goes way more into depth than that. But that's how it came across to me. What's your legal expertise or thoughts on this?
I don't have too much legally, but I do know it is interesting how it's kind of shifting the dynamic for what people find a desirable job down there at LSU. I mean, before Coach Kelly, the last three coaches won national championships there. And so it's, I always consider that to be maybe the top, or if not, right up there as the top college football job. But there's a lot of politics getting involved. Now you got an argument about what you owe your former coach when you sign those contracts. It's looking less desirable here in this opening than maybe it has in quite some time.
And now you hear Marcus Freeman's name. I'm like, really? Really? Remember the last Notre Dame coach who left Notre Dame and went to LSU? You think he wants to repeat that? And now you're trying not to pay the previous guy? I genuinely think Marcus should stay. Like, sometimes staying where you're appreciated has almost an immeasurable value rather than chasing the almighty dollar. And then you're just miserable because of some of the things that come along with that. I know everybody's perspective on that will be different. I have all these different okay, so top 5 highest graded quarterbacks in Power 4 last week, 8th in Cali McManus. Man, I'm so proud I know how to say that name. That took a long time to learn 2 years ago. The former Minnesota quarterback, now at Rutgers, number 1. Diego Pavia, Julian Sane. All right, then you got Notre Dame, Fernando Mendoza, Cade Klubnik, and you got TJ Lateef, number 7 overall in the entire country. So coming back, one more random thought. You know that Oregon, highest ranked opponents each team has beat each team in the top 10 has beat this year. So every team in the top 10 has beat a ranked team except Oregon has beat 0 currently ranked teams. And you're like, what? Well, Penn State, they were highly ranked. Now where are they at? Iowa was ranked when they beat them. Now where are they at? So it comes back to the conversation of, do you count what the team was ranked when they played them or what they are at the end of the year? Because that's a drastic difference in strength of schedule for Oregon right there. Because that was pointed out to me by someone. So it depends on how you look at that. I just thought that was an interesting point. Putting my final thoughts on Emmett, then we're going to start to roll through the clips. When it comes to Emmett, one of my favorite things about him, I'm just going to be honest, I can relate on some things. He was overlooked, and I'm not Emmett Johnson, but when you find people you relate to, you look for similarities. I incredibly felt overlooked when I first got here. He's been disrespected at times, not maybe verbally or outwardly, but when you can't get on the field at all, and you were the starting running back for the last 6 games of your freshman season, and you can't hardly get on the field at all, there's a level of disrespect to that. It felt the same way. And then all of a sudden you start to emerge, and then people start to recognize because your play is undeniable. And then you go along with the fact that a lot of times there's good players who are just normal people. Not great, not bad, just typical people. Sometimes there's great players who aren't great people. And you're like, yeah, he's a great player. Well, what do you think of him as a human being? Well, it's cold outside today, and you kind of just change the topic. Emmett is one of the legit nicest dudes, just a legit good human being. And I will never not root for Emmett Johnson. That's one of my favorite things about all of this. Like, doesn't seek attention, doesn't look for anything, just grinds, hard work. He was barely talked about all off season because it was like, who's the 2 through 4? Oh, yeah, Emmett Johnson's the starter. Maybe we should talk about that guy, including you and me. I'm calling us out on that. We didn't do that enough. Although I want less controversy on the rest of the running back room next offseason. I want more certainty. I'm just going to throw that out there too.
How much time did we spend for that? And the answer ended up being nobody. Like, we spent a whole time trying to figure out who running back number 2 was, and there isn't one.
Well, it's Isaiah Mosey.
There's technically one, right? But he gets 1 carry a game.
Well, he was a guy who wasn't even a running back for a large part of the offseason. My final thoughts are this. He's ultimately going to do its best. He has surrounded himself with people who can give him good advice. And he's the type of guy who's going to listen to the right people, not get sidetracked by people who may not have his best interest at heart. I genuinely, with my very biased hat on, tried to take that hat off, even with my mostly unbiased hat on. I genuinely think it's better for him to come back because there's something to be said. And you know what? This fits perfectly. I just said it with Marcus Freeman. There's something to be said for staying where you're appreciated. Not that he wouldn't be appreciated in the NFL, but the amount of appreciation that Nebraska has for him at this point, especially after, you could call it adversity he went through for a while, and to get to this point and to have earned it. And then if he has a really good season next year, you go somewhere else and you're drafted higher, then you make even more money next year. And then that, I'm going to be honest, the higher you're drafted, the more you're appreciated the second you walk through the door. The less higher you're drafted, it doesn't mean you can't make a football team, doesn't mean you can't have a Hall of Fame career. It just means different people are treated differently in the NFL, and it's based on the amount of zeros on your paycheck, and that can be directly correlated to where you're drafted as well. So I don't think there's a bad decision. I'd be like, man, this is about as good a situation as you're going to get going into your senior year. So if you're not going to stay, man, he's gotten some positivity and great feedback from the NFL. Next, I know you're giving me the break. Next segment, we are firing through those clips.
I do have a question for you, though.
What you got?
Because you were teammates with the guy. The last guy to leave for Nebraska at the running back position was Brandon Jackson. A little bit of a player comp there. I know Brandon Jackson was a little bit bigger, but somewhat similar. Jackson, very much a weapon out of the backfield we saw. And maybe would have had, remember Marlon Lucky, Cody Glenn, Kenny Wilson, they were all in front of him to begin that year. Mm-hmm. But I would get your thoughts on maybe a comparison, not just in the player, but in the situation, because Brandon decided to leave early. He was hot. It was really coming on at the end of the year. So he struck when the iron was hot and was a 2nd round pick.
It's funny. His name hasn't popped into my head before. When I think of guys that Emmett reminds me of, I see similarities between Brandon. There's some differences. I would say Emmett has more experience. Emmett is more refined. Brandon, maybe a couple more pounds, maybe a split second faster, a little bit more raw. Brandon, I think Brandon would have benefited. I thought it at the time. He was a great player. I mean, yeah, strike while the iron's hot, especially when there's no NIL or revenue sharing back then. So that's a very different conversation. But I was like, man, one more year of him getting reps and being more refined as a running back, I thought would have helped him a lot. But I get why he did what he did. So that's actually a great their personalities aren't all that different. Kind of quiet, soft-spoken, but very kind of got that sly smile and that inner confidence, kind of that underneath personality that you just can't help but like a little bit. So that's actually an interesting comparison that I had not thought of right there. All right, when we come back, we are going to fire through some of these clips. We are getting through 7 clips today, Jake. You with me?
I'm with you.
All right, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
Comfort food, but make it vegan. At Rutabagas, they're serving all your crave-worthy classics. Mac and cheese, loaded nachos, Philly cheesesteaks, all 100% plant-powered and 100% delicious. Catch them at their cozy spot at 70th and Vine, or find their food truck rolling through the streets of Lincoln. So whether you're vegan, veg curious, or just hungry for comfort food with a twist, Rutabagas has a plate waiting for you. Find them on Instagram for their food truck location and specials. Rutabagas, where comfort meets compassion.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855 Get legal or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. 1221 N Street, Lincoln.
The savings continue all November long at Elway Power Sports of Lincoln. They're extending their red tag sale with machines priced at invoice plus $300. That's it. No freight, no setup, no extra fees. Plus 10% off snowplow kits, 10% off fly motocross gear, and 50% off all in-stock road tires. Elway Power Sports of Lincoln has you covered all under one roof with a large selection of side-by-sides, ATVs, motorcycles, and personal watercraft at their 27th and I-80 location. They can't wait to get you set up for the holiday season.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
I can't believe I just scratched that car. Find my insurance card.
Dude, what do you have in this glove box? Ew, are these socks dirty?
Oh, forget about the socks. I need my insurance card.
Just pull it up on the State Farm mobile app.
But I can do that? Oh, hey, I can do that.
Yep, it's called service.
I can file a claim on here too?
Yeah, it's called service.
Whoa, I can call my agent too?
It's called service.
Call your local State Farm agent, Vinny Krikak, today at 402-474-1173.
Fall is officially here, and Brown's Shoe Fit has just the right style and comfort your feet deserve. Stop in to see a wide selection of all your favorite brands, including Brooks, Hoka, Echo, Keen, and many more. At Brown's Shoe Fit, they take the time to measure your feet to ensure proper fit. They also have the largest selection of Uggs and Hokas in Lincoln. Brown's Shoe Fit at 66th and Q.
When it comes to keeping your equipment running, you've got options at Landmark Implement. Whether you need premium John Deere parts or a more economical solution, A&I parts from Landmark deliver the dependable performance you can count on, with cost savings up to 40%. From filters and bearings to belts and everyday repairs, A&I parts are built to work as hard as you do, while helping stretch your budget further. Stop by your local Landmark Implement parts counter today, or shop online anytime at shop.deere.com and experience the Landmark difference.
The 2026 Love Nebraska schedule is here. Season 2 features 10 opportunities to catch your home team in Nebraska, with 9 at Baxter Arena and 1 at the Heartland Events Center in Grand Island. More matches means more chances to see your favorite pro volleyball athletes, like Lexi Rodriguez and Jordan Larson. Check out the full schedule by visiting lovbneb.com/schedule.
When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations. For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
This is the Adam Carricker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
You know, sometimes I think we should just leave the mics on so people can hear what we're talking about during the break. Because we've talked about Zach Potter, my former teammate in the past, and, you know, they burned the red shirt so he could be on PAT block, and then he blocks the kick versus Pittsburgh. 2 of them in a row, and we beat Pittsburgh 7-6 because they kicked it on third down. Well, they got the ball after we blocked it, and they kicked it again. He blocked it again. And I was like, do you realize that nowadays that he could have still redshirted that year? and still been a huge reason we beat Pittsburgh that game. Like, how crazy is that? And then I'm like, do you realize TJ Lateef could still technically redshirt? Like, what kind of crazy news? Because he's only played in 4 games. What kind of crazy news would that be if Rule's like, we're going to redshirt him and start Janet Gromstad? And you're like, yeah, we made a bowl game, you know? So what kind of crazy world do we live in now? All right, we are going to get through these clips. Fire away, my friend.
All right, let's start with some fun stuff here. All right, here we go.
An older gentleman driving an old beat-up truck gets into a fender bender with the CEO's Ferrari. The CEO gets out of the car, examines the damage, and decides to bully the old man. Hey, old geezer, that damage is going to cost $50K to fix. Either you give me the money right away or I'll beat the out of you. The old man apologizes. I'm so sorry, sir. I don't have that kind of money, but I'll tell you what, let me call my son. He might be able to help you out because he trains dolphins. The old man calls his son and explains the situation and then hands the phone to the CEO. The CEO blasts him straight away. Your father ran into my Ferrari, and if he doesn't give me the money to fix it, I'm going to beat the out of him. And if you bring your little hippie dolphin-ass training down here, I'll beat the crap out of you as well. A calm voice on the phone said, I'll be there in 10 minutes. 10 minutes later, 2 military vehicles pull up, 6 large guys come out and beat the ish out of the CEO. The son goes to his dad, says, are you okay? The dad says, yeah. He goes, Dad, for the last time, I don't train dolphins, seals. I train Navy SEALs.
Details matter, ladies and gentlemen. Details matter. All right, roll. So these first 3 ones are just kind of to have a little bit of fun with. Go ahead and roll that next one there, Jake.
An old Italian gentleman lived alone in New Jersey. He wanted to plant his annual tomato garden, but it was very difficult work as the ground was hard. His only son, Vincent, who used to help him, was in prison. The old man wrote a letter to his son, described his predicament. Dear Vincent, I'm feeling pretty sad because it looks like I won't be able to plant my tomato garden this year. I'm just getting too old to be digging up a garden plot. I know if you were here, my troubles would be over. I know you'd be happy to dig the plot for me, like in the old days. Love, Papa. A few days later, he received a letter from his son. Dear Papa, don't dig up that garden. That's where the bodies are buried. Love, Vinny. At 4 a.m. the next morning, FBI agents, local police arrived. They dug up the entire area without finding any bodies. They apologized to the old man and left. That same day, the old man received another letter from his son. Dear Papa, go ahead and plant the tomatoes now. That's the best I could do under the circumstances.
All right, we got one more of those. Go ahead and roll it, Jake.
2008, Pat McAfee kicked a 52-yard.
Oh, pause real quick. What's the headline of this one?
If men had a remember bee, like a spelling bee,
If men had a remember bee, and this was sent to me by my wife, and once you hear it, you won't be able to figure out why at all. Go ahead, Jake.
2008, Pat McAfee kicked a 52-yard
field goal against Cincinnati to send the game into overtime. It was a night game in Morgantown and about 38 degrees outside.
The Battle of Gettysburg took place
on July 1st to July 3rd of 1863.
That is correct, but please let me finish before answering.
Sorry.
This morning, your wife texted you to pick up what item on your way home?
What's the origin of the item?
Originated in Naples, Italy in the 16th century.
Can you read the text?
Quote, Mark, size doesn't matter to me.
No, it's on down from that one.
Oh, no, here it is. Quote, on your way home, will you pick up a jar of blank? She also sent a picture of it.
Yeah, I can see the picture. Mayonnaise.
Oh, my wife claims that I can remember all these different teams and games and stats and sports dates back 20 to 30 years, but I won't remember what she asked me to do 5 minutes ago. How dare she? How dare she accuse me of something that might be true? All right. Oh, real quick before we move on, what do you like those, Jake? Which one?
Yeah.
You like all those? All right.
Yeah, I like the what was it, the Italian gardener?
It's all these sons helping their father. This is really an early Father's Day type of part of the hour of the show. All right, real quick before we get on. By the way, it's 6 clips. It was. I sent you one twice. We discovered, so it's 6 clips. It'll be a new show record. But real quick, I do want to give a shout out to one of our good partners of the show, Suizo Construction, where safety isn't just a policy; it's a promise. Suizo is hiring skilled craftsmen, laborers, concrete workers, and steel erectors who value quality work and a team that has your back on and off the job site. Apply today at Suizo.com. 40 years strong in business. Suizo Construction. That's SCHWISOW.com. Also, the Adam Carricker Show is sponsored by our good friends at Hamilton Telecommunications, bringing you the latest in quality technology and communication services since 1901. Learn more about their residential and business services at HamiltonTel.com. That's HamiltonTel.com. This next one, this is Mike Leach, Texas Tech. Is that what it is? All right, go ahead.
Matt Williams was just a fan at a Tech game until this moment. He volunteered in a promotional contest. If he could kick a field goal, he'd win free rent.
Okay, Matt, whenever you're ready, give it a shot.
He takes one step and puts it right down the center of the goalpost. I mean, that's pressure. I figured it'd be easier to kick extra points after that.
Leach sent an equipment manager to catch the contest winner. Williams joined the team and hasn't missed an extra point since.
So that was 2008. And that's when like Texas Tech was like a top 10 team. The last time game day was there, they beat number 1 Texas. So they're in the midst of like a serious, not a college football playoff run, but like national title run. I think they ended the year with 1 loss in the regular season. I do think they got smoked by Ole Miss in the Cotton Bowl, if I remember correctly. But like Oklahoma had 1 loss at the end of the year, Texas Tech. And that's the year where somehow Oklahoma, even though they lost to Texas Tech got blown out by Oklahoma. So to me, that kind of nullified them. Everyone else's losses were all within like 3 to 4 points. Oklahoma went down, played Florida for the national title, and kind of got rolled a little bit. But man, you're in the middle of a national title hunt, and you just found your kicker. Didn't even have a tryout, just randomly, just some contest in the middle of the game. Hey, you should do the Dr. Pepper halftime, like at the Big 12, the SEC championship. You might earn a spot on a squad somewhere, Jake.
The only thing is, I did a little research on this guy.
Oh,
he
okay.
did walk on at Tarleton
he did.
State before this. So,
Tarleton.
Yeah,
Okay.
he had a little bit of football experience before, but he did end up on the in his career. He's 6th on the Red Raiders kicking list with 215 career points. So successful story afterwards.
That's pretty cool. Plus, what's more Mike Leach than finding your kicker in the middle of a national championship run type season? Then just some random contest in the middle of your game. All right, what do we got next? Oh, our good buddy Lane Kiffin, who's SEC bias, never runs wild. Go ahead.
Put him on a neutral site. Ask Vegas who would win. What's the
So
spread?
pause real quick. So this is who should be number 1. Ohio State, Indiana, Texas A&M, the 3 undefeated major teams in the top 10 right now. A&M's currently number 3, Indiana 2, Ohio State 1. So this is his logic because the SEC here. So I've talked about how the SEC is a great conference, respect them. There's an argument to be made the Big Ten's the best conference in college football. There's an argument to be made the SEC is the best conference in college football. The fair arguments, I'll listen to both. If somebody wants to advocate for another conference, it's going to fall on deaf ears with me. But either one of those, I'm fine with. It's when SEC folks go over the top. They just act like they're greater than us and it's not even in the same ballpark, which, by the way, Lane Kiffin said last year from a podium. Like, he basically said it's not even close. The same guy who doesn't want to play in his conference championship game, which you actually pointed out might actually be the right way to go with this, which is something that college football needs to fix and address. But the other thing I think that bothers me sometimes with some SEC folks who take this route is the hypotheticals. They want to live in this hypothetical world. You remember when we played football games last year and the SEC didn't do so well in the playoff and didn't do so well in bowl games? When we actually played football games, I get so tired of this hypothetical world. Well, what if this? What does Vegas think? What if they were on a neutral site field? Who do you think would win? I don't know. It's all subjective. Don't act like it's definitive. I actually really like Lane Kiffin. He's a guy, we've talked about this. Most people could say things he says and it would not go well. He can say it and get away with it because he's Lane freaking Kiffin, and I love that about him. But this hypothetical and then acting like people's opinion is definitive and inarguable is something that I also am not a fan of when it comes to certain SEC logic. Now go ahead, Jake.
Put him on a neutral site. Ask Vegas who would win. What's the spread? And that, to me, shows more than people sitting around a room just guessing.
Now that the first CFP rankings are out, where you guys were, where the league was, were you encouraged by that?
I think in some ways a little bit, but I think that some other people have pointed out, in other ways, no, like, Texas A&M being 3, what more do you want them to do to be 1? Like I said, when people want to schedule and they say, okay, man, we need you to schedule hard teams. You're going to have now 9 SEC and then play another hard one. Well, they went up to Notre Dame and won. So those people that say, man, those schedules are worth it to play that. What if they didn't play Notre Dame? If they just played whoever and just had an easy win, they'd be ranked in the same spot. So what good did that do if that's not rewarded? So they got the highest metrics of everybody, and they're not number 1. So I don't know. Again, you talk about those 2 teams right there, put them on a neutral site, ask Vegas who would win, what's the spread. And that to me shows more than people sitting around a room just guessing.
All right. So first of all, Lane Kiffin just took a shot at Troy Dannon because he's one of those guys on that college football playoff committee. Thoughts on Lane directly calling out Troy? No, that's not what happened?
No.
Okay. All right. I tried to have fun with that. So I will say this. I get sick and tired of the hypotheticals being supposed to be treated like they're definitive. I talked about that. I will say this. He makes a fair point, not about Texas A&M versus Ohio State, because Texas A&M went up to South Bend, beat Indiana on the road. Hey, remember that. Watch Nate Borkesher catch the game-winning touchdown. I also remember Ohio State scheduling the number 1 team in the country at the time. They have no way of knowing Texas may or may not be in the playoff at the end of the year. Texas was preseason number 1, and that's who Ohio State opened their season with. So that doesn't hold water with me when it comes to Texas A&M versus Ohio State. However, I want your thoughts on this. When you look at Texas A&M versus Indiana's non-conference schedule, now we know how Curt Cignetti wants to schedule non-conference teams. Old Dominion, they're D1 now, right?
Yeah.
I know the answer. I'm just like trying to drive the point home that not a great game. Kennesaw State, not D1, not FBS. Indiana State, they have 2 teams that aren't FBS.
So I think Kennesaw State is technically D1, yeah.
Since when did that happen?
I think either this year or last
This past year, because we went from 133 to 136. So are they one of the 3 teams we added? All right, fine. They scheduled 2 FBS teams. The strength of schedule just went through the roof for Indiana. I will give him this when it comes to A&M versus Indiana. I can listen to that argument. Like if you're going to talk about something that is definitive, Notre Dame and A&M's non-conference schedule versus whoever it is that Indiana, I'm staring right at it. I know who it is. Indiana's non-con. I can listen to that. That's definitive. That's not a who do you think would win. No, let's compare apples to apples, not watermelons to grapes, and then say it's all fruit, but we should treat it all the same, even though it's not even close to being the same at times. All right, you got any final thoughts on that? And then we're going to roll the volleyball clip and get out, and we will have set a show record. Not only 6 clips in one show, but 6 clips in one segment. Jake will never do it again. You got
we better move on.
No, you got any final thoughts quick? We can go late a minute or 2. We always do.
No, it's fine. I think it's fair. I mean, you could have that argument. At the same time, Indiana's been, for the most part, and they have the close calls against, Penn State and the Iowa and whatnot, but for the most part, they've been blowing everybody out. Texas A&M's kind of sliding by folks. And Texas A&M, you think of the SEC schedule, they haven't had a tough SEC schedule. So they're to bring up the Notre Dame game is the right thing to do. I think their best team that they've beat in the SEC so far. I mean, everybody on their schedule is in the bottom half of the SEC so far. Maybe, LSU, Missouri, they were ranked wins at the time.
Okay. So dude, you went down the hole I was waiting to go down. God bless you. Preach hallelujah and amen. Because Lane Kiffin cherry-picked. Well, let's not look at A&M's SEC schedule because the SEC schedule is always better than the Big. Oh, wait, it's not. Because Indiana has played 2 top 10 teams in the Big Ten, beat one of them by 53 points, went up to Autzen and owned Oregon by double digits on their home field. No. I'm going to go to the part of the schedule that behooves the narrative that I want. Let's point out the one really good team A&M's played all year, and let's point to that. You beat me to the dude. I love that you saw it because that's where I was going to go. Like, look at the schedule as a whole. Now, the non-conference, I could get behind, but you look at the schedule as a whole. A&M's is not tougher than Indiana's. Now, I'm sick and tired of Curt Cignetti scheduling nobody and getting away with it. We're eventually going to have to go to 9 plus the 1 Power 4 as well, just like the SEC. Was that Lane's way of complaining about that randomly, by the way? I think?
Probably a little bit.
He cherry-picked, and he did it oh so well. He almost had me until I pulled up and looked at all the 2-team schedules in their entirety, and I was like, I don't like it when people push a narrative with cherry-picked facts. I know we're going to be late, but we're going to do it. Roll the volleyball clip. Nebraska volleyball is having an epic season. This is Emily Eamon, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which we've had on the show, kind of diatribing some of those things. You can just go directly into break. I think Danny Busboom Kelly has obviously experienced this as a coach and as a player. The biggest key is keeping this team, despite everything you're about to hear and how phenomenal they've been so far, focused. This is a team that has fire in their bellies. National championship appearance 2 years ago, Final Four a year ago. They want that ring. And that's, I think, what's going to keep them focused. But what they've done so far is worth recognizing. Go ahead, Jake.
The Nebraska volleyball team has been absolutely dominating this season like the Big Ten hasn't seen in a long time. Let's break it down. The Huskers are the only undefeated team left in the country at 22-0, 12-0 in Big Ten play. Last time they were 12-0 in conference play was 1995 in the Big 8 conference. The Huskers have also already taken down 8 ranked opponents this season. Most notably, Nebraska hasn't lost a single set in their last 13 matches dating back to mid-September. What's making Nebraska so tough is they are the most well-rounded team in the country by far. Coming into this week, Nebraska was second in the country in opponent hit percentage, limiting all their opponents to an average of 112. And the Huskers lead the NCAA by far in hit percentage, hitting 335 this year. For context, the next closest is Texas at 309. Nebraska also leads one of the most balanced attacks in the country, with every starting attacker averaging about 2 kills or more per set. That stems from having 4 returning All-Americans from last season, which was the most in the country. In my opinion, Nebraska also has 2 players that are absolutely on the front-runner list for Big Ten Player of the Year, and that's outside Harper Murray and Setterberg and Riley, who are crushing it this season. Although Nebraska does not have an easy schedule to finish the year. 5 of their last 8 opponents are either ranked or have been receiving votes in the top 25 poll. So how long do you think this winning streak can go on? Can the Huskers make it all the way to the end to hoist the trophy? Let me know.
Imagine starting your day with a computer glitch that leaves you feeling stuck, frustrated, and unable to get your work done. You have 1,000,001 things to get done today, and waiting for the tech issue to solve itself isn't one of them. It's time to let Hamilton handle the tech so you don't have to. We help businesses across the state spend more time on what they do best and less time frustrated with office technology. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we're focused on providing custom solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Connect with us today at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Concrete Industries has immediate job openings for precast production laborers and maintenance technicians. Concrete Industries offers great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, holidays, and paid time off. Apply today to earn a starting pay of $21.50 per hour plus a $1,500 hiring bonus. Concrete Industries is hiring all experience levels and offers on-the-job training. Start your career today as a precast production laborer or maintenance technician. Visit concreteindustries.com.
When it comes to keeping your equipment running, you've got options at Landmark Implement. Whether you need premium John Deere parts or a more economical solution, A&I parts from Landmark deliver the dependable performance you can count on with cost savings up to 40%. From filters and bearings to belts and everyday repairs, A&I parts are built to work as hard as you do while helping stretch your budget further. Stop by your local Landmark Implement parts counter today or shop online anytime at shop.deere.com and experience the Landmark difference.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. 1221 N Street, Lincoln.
Hungry for something real? Come to HF Crave, Lincoln's favorite spot for burgers that are anything but basic. Locally sourced Nebraska beef, hand-cut fries, and bold flavors that'll make your taste buds cheer. Whether you're craving the classics or ready to try something wild, they've got the burger that gets you. HF Crave. Fresh, local, craveable. Find them at 48th and Holdridge or order online at hfcrave.com.
The 2026 Love Nebraska schedule is here. Season 2 features 10 opportunities to catch your home team in Nebraska, with 9 at Baxter Arena and 1 at the Heartland Events Center in Grand Island. More matches means more chances to see your favorite pro volleyball athletes, like Lexi Rodriguez and Jordan Larson. Check out the full schedule by visiting lovbneb.com/schedule.
Don't be fooled by the typical holiday ads this year. A new car for your significant other is a dream, but not a likely reality. Why not upgrade the current car you have with a detail? This year's hot item is a gift certificate from Nebraska Auto Detail to make your car look and smell fully refreshed again. We all have clutter and we all make messes, but it doesn't have to stay like that. Give the gift of a clean car this holiday. Buy your certificate at NebraskaAutoDetail.com or call 402-601-5086 for an appointment today.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Hungry for something real? Come to HF Crave, Lincoln's favorite spot for burgers that are anything but basic. Locally sourced Nebraska beef, hand-cut fries, and bold flavors that'll make your taste buds cheer. Whether you're craving the classics or ready to try something wild, they've got the burger that gets you. HF Crave. Fresh, local, craveable. Find them at 48th and Holdridge or order online at hfcrave.com.
This is the Adam Carricker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carricker Show. All right, before we get into this final segment, just an FYI, there's like a semi-serious chance that USC and Michigan may be leaving the Big Ten? Question mark, exclamation point. I'm staring at an article that it appears to be semi-serious. We'll dive into that, and then I will proceed to extend my lead in the college football playoff pick 'em over Jake. He's picking the games right now. As always, I rarely know what they are. So we'll see what happens as we go along. A couple of quick shout-outs. I want to shout out to Creighton folks and Lane Kiffin. It's funny, since I moved back to Nebraska with the family, I've actually watched Creighton a little bit more than normal, and Lane Kiffin a little bit more than normal. I get a kick out of Lane. But anybody with Nebraska ties, like Lane has, Monty Kiffin actually coached me at the Senior Bowl. Obviously, he was a D coordinator here in Nebraska for a long time. He was the guy that helped originate the black shirts. He was part of that coaching and Nebraska football era. I always tend to follow those people and root for them just a little bit more, but we still got to have our fun on this show. All right, real quick, before we dive into USC Michigan. Oh, man, it's just like starting. So hopefully it doesn't go too far because USC and Michigan are, they're huge assets for the Big Ten. Before we dive into that, as a former Husker and NFL player, I'm a bit of a health nut. Hydration and recovery do start at home. That's why I teamed up with Culligan of Lincoln. Soft water means better showers, cleaner dishes, and it protects your water heater and appliances. Their high-efficiency softener cuts salt and water usage. For drinking, make sure you add a Culligan reverse osmosis. Bottle quality water, ladies and gentlemen, right at your tap. Great taste, and it's certified to reduce tough contaminants like lead and PFAs. Right now, get up to $300 off a whole home system, or just $9.95 a month for your first 3 months. Schedule your free water test at CulliganHuskers.com. That's CulliganHuskers.com. Culligan of Lincoln, water you love. Go Big Red. All right. I'm going to kind of peruse this article a little bit from Yahoo Sports. 2 big schools are reportedly considered leaving the Big Ten Conference. The Big Ten has gone through all sorts of changes, and they talk about Nebraska joining Maryland, Rutgers, and USC. Okay, everyone we know that's joined. The league is reportedly considering investment from private equity, which is not going to be a new thing in college football for very much longer because it's going to happen a lot, and it'll just be the status quo. But the Big Ten Conference would essentially be selling off part of the new corporate enterprise as an outside investor. According to the reports, the deal would be a 20-year, $2.4 billion with a B investment from the California Pension Fund. But 2 schools are very opposed to it. 2 major schools are reportedly opposed to the plan, Michigan and USC. All right, reportedly, according to reports, the Wolverines and Trojans are so opposed to the private equity deal that they are considering a nuclear option of leaving the conference potentially. Now, it's been reported this week that Michigan and USC have received an ultimatum from the conference. All right, and I'm going to skip down a little bit here. There's a whole bunch of other details, but why they're opposed to it. According to reports, Michigan believes that the deal is essentially an unnecessary payday loan that would bail certain schools out for poorly managing their finances. Meanwhile, USC, as a new member to the conference, would receive less upfront money than schools like Ohio State and Michigan who've been in the conference longer. Michigan and USC could ultimately choose to leave the Big Ten and be independent like Notre Dame, or maybe they could shock the college football world and join the SEC. Oklahoma and Texas just did it recently, after all. So we'll see what happens here. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen, but it sounds semi-serious, and this would be a big deal. If I'm Michigan, USC, I'll go to the SEC. I'll go independent. I'll go make 20 mil over the course of a few college football playoff games, and guess what? I won't share it with nobody. I'll just keep it to myself. Do you think more schools going independent could be the way to go?
It could be at some point. Certainly makes sense for Notre Dame. Now, they got the TV deal with NBC and all that as well. So they got some other advantages too. But strike a deal with Netflix or something, and yeah, get running.
Did you get on Netflix? You're worldwide.
Yeah.
You think Netflix would be that interested in
They
USC,
might
Michigan?
be. I always thought Netflix would be a good option for Nebraska.
Ooh.
The brand, the N.
Dude, that'd be fun. Oh, the Netflix, the Nebraska?
Yeah.
All right. I like it. Well, we'll see what happens there. That's obviously a big deal. If they were to join the SEC, holy Moses Malone, if they go independent, my gut tells me they're going to figure it out. It's better for USC and Michigan, and it's better for the Big Ten. But we'll see what happens. Something to keep an eye on. What games are we picking there, Jake? Have you cherry-picked the games you know the most about and hoping I know the least? What do we got here?
Mostly with top 25 matchups. But,
Okay.
yeah, I need to maybe do that because I need to catch up. Let's start off with the Friday night matchup. Clemson at number 20, Louisville. Clemson is going into this game 4-5. They will need to win two of these final games. Louisville, Furman, and South Carolina, their final couple games. Louisville coming off a loss, but they are ranked. Louisville only favored by 2.5, though.
I forgot the ACC only plays 8 conference games, and they schedule that third bye-week opponent in November as well. For them, for whoever we talked about on Tuesday, it was Citadel. Now it's Furman for Clemson, or you said Clemson or Louisville?
Yeah, Clemson.
I know you just want me to give the answer. I'm biding time while I think about it. I'm going to go with Louisville.
Yeah, fair enough. I will go with Louisville as well. Good pick. Let's go into a game that doesn't seem to matter all that much to Pat Narduzzi, but number 9, Notre Dame at number 22, Pittsburgh. Notre Dame favored by 12.5.
I'm going to go with Notre Dame. I think they went out. I think they get in the college football playoff.
Fair enough. All right, let's jump to a matchup.
Who you taking?
Oh, yeah, I better pick somebody. I better pick Notre Dame. I might want to go with Pittsburgh. I always like Pat
copying
Narduzzi,
me.
But, well, there it is.
Go ahead.
Number 11, Oklahoma at number 4, Alabama. Alabama favored by 6.5.
Yeah, give me Bama. Who you got?
Fair enough. I'll go with Bama as well.
Well,
I'm not making up any ground.
It actually works for me because I'm guaranteed to maintain the lead. This is actually working well. Did you have one more, or was that it?
I'll get a few more. Iowa at USC. Number 21, Iowa. Number 17, USC.
Ooh. Who's the home team? Because I'm going with the home team.
USC.
Oh, I'm going with USC then. I'm going SC. Who you taking?
I need to catch up. I'll go with Iowa. Maybe I'll pick my spots here. Then finally, Texas at Georgia. Number 10, Texas. Number 5, Georgia. Georgia's 6.5-point favorite.
If Texas loses, they're out of the CFP. This is a must win. Because immediately I was going to take Georgia, especially at home. Remember, Georgia had like that 47 home game win streak, and then they lost to Bama this year. Would they have that win streak snapped and then lose twice at home in the same season? But this is do or die for Texas. Oh, this is actually a tough one. Out of principle, I'm going to not pick Gag Me You. Give me Georgia. Out of principle.
Gross. That means I have to pick Texas. Also, Nebraska versus the bye week.
I predict we do not lose.
Good prediction.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, have a great rest of your Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'll see you fine folks on Monday. Go Big Red Nose. Remember to throw the bones.
Load up on meat and more this fall at the Mercado by Certified Piedmont.